guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. So we're here with brother-in-law Hank.
Hey everybody.
So we're here because it's a kind of a sad day for a lot of Van Halen fans.
Yeah,
Eddie Van Halen fan.
Any rock and roll, any rock fan, any music fan,
yeah.
you know, knows about Eddie Van Halen passing yesterday, and unfortunately we weren't around. We couldn't do anything yesterday, but you know, we gotta do a little tribute to the man. You know, one of the
definitely
one of the greatest, most innovative rock guitarists. You know that.
And I know some of his songs.
You probably know
Jump.
You probably know Jump and maybe Panama. I don't know what else you would know because you would only know when they played on the pop radios. You were not a rocker.
I know, but I know he was married to
Valerie Bertinelli,
the actress,
for many years.
He has a son, Wolfgang, I think.
Who played eventually he played bass for the band Van Halen.
Oh,
I think in 2006, 2007 he joined
cool.
Where you might know him from also, you probably don't even know, but he played the lead guitar on Beat It by Michael Jackson.
I heard about that. I did not know that.
Right, he played the lead guitar. He did a really crazy jam on that song. So I gotta
check that out, and I really have to see.
Do Beat It, and then you're gonna do Van Halen and Michael Jackson at the same time.
Oh my God, that really get bluffed though.
Yeah, but you were not a rocker, so maybe you would know a lot of their songs. But I mean, their first album was in 1978. And it was one of the great debut albums, you know, like Boston. You did a lot of Boston. Their first album was like fantastic. These guys, their first album, which is like off the charts, you know. Yeah, and then after that, every album, which is freaking great. And this guy was so innovative. You know, he was a totally different type of guitar player. I mean, he's been compared a lot to Jimi Hendrix, because Jimi Hendrix, when he came on the scene, he was just totally different, blew everybody away. He was doing things that nobody else was doing on guitar. Eddie Van Halen was somewhat similar to that. You know, he had what they call the double finger tapping, the way a style that he played. He didn't invent it, but he just became a master at it, and it was just an incredible sound that he got out of that guitar. So I never got to see him, but I was always a big fan. I mean, got all their CDs, you know, always listen to them, have big playlists now. Of course, I've been listening this last couple of days. She's one of the greatest guitarists, you know, again, that ever lived. It's tough to beat. It's in the top 5, you know, greatest guitarists in everybody's list. Yeah, no, he was just that. So he will be missed. He will absolutely.
Yeah, and he's only 65.
Yeah. But you know, he had problems with cancer for many years. You know, lung cancer, then throat cancer. I heard he had part of his tongue removed because of tongue cancer. So I mean, he just, you know, cancer kind of beat him up. But at least we had him for 65 years, you know, and up until, you know, almost towards the end, he still had it. He never lost the playing ability, you know. So it's that day. So we figure, you know, we gotta do something, you know, and you know, then the question becomes, what do we do?
Exactly.
So to me personally, you cannot.
Have a lot of songs.
He's got so many. There's so many. Like I said, they had, I don't know, 14, 15 studio albums, 7 with David Lee Roth, and 4 with Sammy Hagar. And like many bands, like many things, there's people that like the David Lee Roth Van Halen and people that like the Sammy Hagar Van Halen. You know, like I when we talked a while back about Paul McCartney and John Lennon with the Beatles, there's people who are John Lennon, people who are McCartney. Well, with Van Halen, it's the same thing. Me personally, I've always been a David Lee Roth Van Halen guy. I like Sammy Hagar, I like Van Halen with Sammy Hagar, but the sound that they had with David Lee Roth was a little bit different, because Sammy Hagar was a musician himself, so he sort of changed the music a little bit. It was still great, and they still have 4 #1 albums with Sammy Hagar, but the music to me was more open with David Lee Roth, because he was just a singer. So at that time it would be just Eddie playing on the guitar, Michael Anthony on the bass, and his brother, so the brother Alex is the drummer. You know, it was just the 3 of them making all that noise. And then when Sammy came along, he added his musical input into, so it changed the sound a little bit. They were still great. But for me personally, you know, I just always liked the David Lee Roth era better than the Sammy Hagar. So, you know, there's just so much stuff to do. So you cannot talk about Eddie Van Halen without talking about Eruption. Eruption is a think it's like 1 minute and 40 seconds or something like that.
Short
And it's
song.
a jam that's always considered as one of the greatest solos, you know, rock solos ever done. And really what it was just a warm-up throughout his album. So
there is no singing? It's just...
There is no, it's just him.
Okay.
Throughout his albums, he had a lot of little solos that he would do before the actual song, 45 seconds, 50-second intros into songs. And this one, you know, was sort of like an intro into the song "You Really Got Me," which is a copy. It's a copy of the Kings song "You Really Got Me" from 1964, I believe, or 65. It's a cover. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, but they do a kick-ass version, and you never hear one song without the other. So I thought, you know what, we got to do Eruption, and then, you know, we'll just follow it up with "You Really Got Me," because both of those, especially "You Really Got Me," it shows his style. You can get the feel of who Eddie Van Halen was as a guitar player, and I mean, it just took a song, and just like, you know, blew it up. So anyway, so we'll start with Eruption and go into the one back and forth.
Can't wait.
This is your introduction to the real Van Halen, because Jump was great, but
I haven't done any Van Halen on my channel, so this is exciting.
So now it's the time to do it, and you know, and you get
it's a little, you know, sad, but
yeah, but it is sad, but it's just a tribute, you know. It's also enjoying celebrating his music, you know, his great music that he gave to us. So all right, let's see what you think about this. Here's to Eddie. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. God, is that it?
Short but sweet. It's sort of like a warm up, that, you know, introduction into the other song. And now you see why it was called Eruption. I mean, it's just an eruption of sound.
That is something that you want to see live.
Oh yeah. Well, the live version, he would do like 10, 12 minutes. He would extend it to like 12-minute solos, where he would incorporate that into just other crazy stuff. And that's the first time I've ever seen you do air guitar, so you know Eddie, he's got a spell on you, because I've never seen you do that. So
no, it was just like boom.
Yeah, it was just.
I was like, oh my God.
It was just a warm up that led on, or an introduction that led on to the next song. So we'll continue.
So good.
Yeah, and this, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you've heard, maybe not Van Halen's version, maybe the Kings, but we'll see. They have such a great sound.
don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. Please, don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing, yeah. Oh yeah, you really got me now. Got me so I guess in that night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Oh no, no.
Does it sound familiar?
I heard this song before. I mean, I don't know the words to the song, but I've heard it before.
By Van Halen or by the Kings? You would know it's two totally different
really?
versions. Yeah, the Kings are much. No, this is
Slower?
much, not slower, but the rock, the instrumentation is much lighter. Here's like you can hear the bass, the drums. It's just like a much fuller sound. And theirs was done in 1964, I think, or 65 by the Kings.
This.
So
It was by yeah. It was
yeah, and
Van
this
Halen.
both versions get played regularly on rock radio.
Oh.
Because the Kings version,
Really?
the Kings were a really great band. I mean, as a matter of fact, Van Halen does 2 or 3 of their songs. Throughout their career, they did a few. The Van Halen did a lot of remakes. From different bands. Some of the big hits were remakes, and they did a few from the Kings. But let's keep this going. Listen to that guitar.
Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Girl, you really got me now. Got me so I guess that night. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know where I'm going, yeah. Oh yeah, you really got me now. Got me so I guess that night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Oh, oh, oh.
That's Eddie Van Halen.
That was good.
They are good. They are good.
He
They are
was just jamming away. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I just love
So
the
good.
sound. It was what I call an open sound because the drummer and then Michael Anthony on the bass they're just doing their thing, and then Eddie's coming in with all his mighty guitar playing.
He was just like jamming away.
Yeah. No, they were. I mean, all of their albums were platinum, multi-platinum. They sold, from what I understand, over 80 million records worldwide. I mean, that's
Really?
yeah. I read somewhere that they were like in the top 20 of record sales, ever. I mean, that's a lot. With
Do you have
millions-
this record?
I do.
Yeah.
I have a lot of CDs. I have like 9 or 10 of their CDs. I mean, I used to have them back in the day with the records. I had them, and of course now on the with the Spotify. I mean, you got them at the tip of your hands. But no, I do have a bunch of their CDs, the earlier ones, and even the Sammy Hagar ones I have. Because again, I'm more of a David Lee Roth, but you cannot deny with Sammy Hagar, they did 4 albums, and all 4 of them went to #1. You know what I mean? So yeah, musically they didn't just change their style a little bit, but they still kept that. It was still great. I mean, from the late 70s, early 80s, to the whole 80s, basically, Van Halen was like the biggest rock band going. I mean, with everybody out there, they were definitely one of the top 2-3 bands in the world. I mean, they were just that.
Well, I mean, I know some of their songs, so they do play them the song in the pop station.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. They do a really good version of "Pretty Woman," by Roy Orbison. Also, something like this where they just rock it. Because Roy Orbison, he does it, but it's not rock heavy, loud.
No, yeah.
They just do an incredible version
Really?
of that. There's a
maybe
song called
that.
"Dancing in the Streets." That's also a very famous song from the 50s, I believe, or 60s. They do an incredible version of that. I mean, they did a lot of covers, you know,
And they
of
turned
course.
it into rock.
Exactly,
Like a rock sound.
exactly, totally different
Yeah.
and incredibly great, and of course all their own material.
That's good.
So no, that
Gotta
was
hear some of those songs.
yeah.
I really want to check them out live, you know, just to see how they look. But
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I know
this-
what
this-
he looks like.
Eddie Van Halen from
Yeah.
when he was younger, or even
Well,
early.
well, younger, and then I just saw pictures of him when he was older because they were showing pictures of
Right, because now he's got the short
passed
hair, a
away.
little beard, and
Yeah.
all gray, and he still look good. You know, he looked good,
no,
and he
he's
still
a very
played.
nice looking man.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, when he was young, of course, the long hair, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah, he was hot.
yeah, of course
They
you
all
would say
have
that.
long hair.
Yeah, that was the look, of
I
course,
was
of
like,
course.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean his
No, it was
guitar.
hot.
His guitar is in the Smithsonian Institute,
Really?
which is one of the the most important museums.
Wow.
I mean that tells you something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, to me, it's him, it's Hendrix, it's Jimmy Page, of course, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, great rock guitarists. You know, he's in that group. You know, different styles, but
Well, I can see why. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, he's
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
freaking good.
he was, and he did that hand tapping, which is, of course, he used the pick, but he would also just kind of like with his hand here be hitting the strings and then doing this, and it was just an incredible. It was a different sound, and it was just an incredible, innovative guitar player.
Yeah, definitely.
So, it'll be a long time before you get somebody else like him,
Well, you
at that
don't
level.
have that today, so
No, I mean we have a few. I mean, there's rock,
new.
there's future. There's hope for rock. With the kids that we did, the Greta Van Fleet.
Okay.
As far as guitar players,
that's
as a matter
it.
of fact, I'm wearing a Gary Clark Jr. shirt, who's also an incredible
He is.
guitar player.
Right.
He does blues. He's also Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eric Clapton. Hendrix type. He does a couple of Hendrix songs. He does a really good version of "Come Together" by the Beatles. In his style. He's also an incredible. So there are some great rock musicians. Not as it was in the 70s or 80s, but there's some. There's still
around.
hope for rock and roll, for the greatest of all genres of music.
I know.
That's
But
my
nothing
opinion.
like the old rock, though.
Yeah, no, of course. But in 20 years, we'll be looking back, hopefully, at Gary Clark or the Greta Van
All the
Fleet kids,
new ones.
and saying those were the
hopefully
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yep.
rock lives, man. Rock lives on, And guys like Eddie Van Halen or Hendrix or all these guys have come before them, Stevie Ray, they'll live forever because great music is great
Yes.
music, and our kids will be listening. Hopefully, our grandchildren will be listening and saying, "Wow, these guys were incredibly great."
And I see a lot of a lot of young kids are reacting to a lot of this old
Right.
music, which
is great.
I think is
It's fantastic.
It's like,
Keep
wow,
doing it because right from their parents or whoever they and they're finding out. I mean
Yes.
that keeps
and
the
then
music
they
alive.
realize it's such a good music that we had back then,
Right.
And they're like, oh wow! I mean, it's just.
And it's funny
thanks
because
for
you hear
YouTube, though. You know what I mean? Because back then you didn't have YouTube. You didn't have,
Right.
we have
Yeah,
MTV.
yeah.
Not everybody has
Sure.
MTV, so
Right.
you really don't know. Like myself, I don't really know half of the sing. I don't know what they look like back then, and you
Right.
know what I mean? I don't. So
Yeah.
now I'm finding out like all these like singers that I probably heard some song and I know what they look like, and it's exciting. So I like that. That was good.
Yep.
I hope you guys like that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. And once
Absolutely.
again,
Yeah.
rest in peace,
Rest in peace,
Mr. Eddie.
EVH,
Mm-hmm.
and there'll be no one like him. So we'll keep enjoying his music. We'll keep listening for
Definitely.
years to come.
Yep. Music never dies.
All right, everybody, stay
Okay.
safe. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, one more cheers
One more cheers.
for Eddie's, and be safe, and see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.